What's going on, and welcome to the very first, I hope that clap didn't make the audio terrible. What's poppin', and welcome to the very first Integrated Interventions vlog. My name is Tyler C.
And I'm Corey Koo.
And yo, the reason why we are doing this vlog not only is to keep you all informed of what's going on here at Integrated Interventions, but to also help you guys with some resources that not only we use for our students, but we also help our staff with. As a staff in this industry, we know that we have to keep life balanced, and that's what this month is about.
You pretty much know what I was supposed to say.
I
was like, what do I say now?
I'll tell you what you could say. You could talk about Tanya O'Keefe. Okay, so before Corey tells you about Tanya O'Keefe, the reason why I bring up Tanya O'Keefe, who is our nurse practitioner, which I just told you about Tanya instead of Corey telling you about Tanya. The reason why I bring her up is because Shay Marquette, our wellness coordinator, sat down with Tanya and had a conversation about hobbies and exercise and vitamin D's and hormone. But Corey, tell us more about Tanya.
I was like, you just said she's a nurse practitioner.
It's alright. I didn't say she's a nurse practitioner.
You
here.
did say she was a nurse practitioner.
But not the nurse practitioner here at our wellness center.
Okay.
Who's a part of Movida Health.
There you go. You stole my 3 lines.
Here's a more professional way. Corey's gonna hit us with the professional way of saying all that. I'm totally leaving this all in here.
Tanya is a nurse practitioner for Movida Health here in our wellness center, and she works with our students when they first get in, and will probably continue to work with them over time, doing meds management, maybe some meal planning, and some just general great health tips to help them get by.
Let's jump into a conversation with Shay Marquette and Tanya O'Keefe talking about all of this stuff. We'll be right back.
So when we first onboard students, what does that kind of look like in terms of meeting with you?
Well, I like to get a pretty thorough intake in regards to their lifestyle to start with, and I like to do a pretty thorough lab assessment. There's a lot of underlying issues that we can uncover that way. Mm-hmm. So I like to get a full hormone profile. I like to look at their vitamin and mineral status very thoroughly to just kind of get an idea of what might be triggering some of the issues that they're dealing with.
Sure.
That way.
Yeah. And so when you do full blood and hormone profiles, what's a common, if there is one, a common occurrence that happens with a lot of our students when you get results back?
Well, very common is obviously vitamin D deficiency is rampant in the Northwest.
Especially right now.
Especially right now. But even in the summer, we don't get the direct sunlight, and so we still don't have that vitamin D level surge that we would if we lived in Arizona. And that can actually lead into hormone deficiencies. Vitamin D is one of the main components for hormone synthesis. And so without that, we also see variations in hormones, high estrogens in men. Even in girls, we can get estrogen dominance, or we can get testosterone excess, which can lead to hormone imbalances.
Interesting. Yeah. So in terms of hormones, I've noticed that a lot of our students who suffer from mental health disorders have hormonal issues as well. Is there a link between the two?
There absolutely is. High estrogen can lead to, in men, a whole host of symptoms. We can experience sleep disturbances, anxiety, emotional surges, cheerfulness, depression, just a whole host of things. In girls as well, a lot of anxiety ridden with the excess estrogen is really, really prevalent with anxiety and depression, and just imbalances in emotional stability.
Sure. So let's talk about testosterone and bipolar disorder. I know that there's been some evidence that there's a link between the two. Can you speak on that?
They don't understand why, but there is a link with it. And getting those getting the balance of estrogen to testosterone balance in men, we see a stabilization in those moods. Regardless of where it comes from, we know that we can help balance them stabilize them rather, through balancing those hormones.
Sure. So when speaking about hormones and regulating them, how does exercise play a role?
Well, exercise is very important in balancing hormones. For men specifically, it can really help increase testosterone and help to prevent the conversion of testosterone into estrogen and help them utilize it. In women, kind of the same thing. It helps to prevent that estrogen dominance that we see so prevalent in our girls. Also, exercise can help balance out thyroid hormone. It can help stimulate TSH, which is the regulating hormone for the thyroid hormones. And so it can really be beneficial in helping to balance that all out,
Awesome.
especially if you do it outside.
Right. So speaking of, because our students are coming to beautiful Coeur d'Alene, one of Coeur d'Alene's, I guess, facets is that we have so many outdoor things to do, whether it be hiking, paddleboarding, fishing, boating. Skiing is just 15 to 20 minutes away. There's gyms all around in our area. There's plenty of opportunities for people to get physical exercise and really get healthy here.
Absolutely. And in that, if you can get your exercise, some of it at least outside. I mean, obviously weight training is very important, but for the cardiovascular components, getting a lot of it outside is going to help with the vitamin D levels. It's going to help decrease that anxiety when you interact with nature.
Grounding, meditating in nature.
Yeah, all of those things.
Also this month, that was a great conversation between Shay and, I should do it like, and we're back. That was a great, I'm leaving this in there. That was a great conversation with Shay and Tanya. Actually, if you want to hear more about what Shay does and more of Shay's role here, listen to our podcast that we put out last month about wellness, about exercise. Her and our program director, Mr. Chris Garrett, who you're going to see here in just a second, B-roll, sat down for a great podcast last month to talk about exercise and vitamin D. But also we sat down with one of our mentors, Mr. Shay Corey, to talk about what it's like to actually have that life balance and to use the hobbies that we have available to us here in beautiful Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and what it looks like to teach our students that. So let's jump into that real quick.
I was basically born into winter sports. My first skiing experience, I think I was 4 years of age, so it was when I could cognitively start to walk and feel my environment. My parents put me on skis, so literally started skiing at the age of 4. Continued skiing until about 11, and then I switched to snowboarding and have been snowboarding ever since. I'm 36 now, so the majority of my life I've spent ample time in the outdoor winter recreation. There's an author like Derek Jensen, and he brings up this idea of identification, so, and he kind of explains it like this, and it's about the land base. And if we get our water from the sink and we get our food from the grocery store, those are like our basic ideas of survival. And we'll defend that because that's how we survive. But if we get our water from a stream and our food from the land, we'll eventually defend that because that's our basic way of survival. So in our modern world, we're not, going to go live off the land and do whatever, but there is this aspect where nature can improve one's quality of life. And if you can identify with that, then you'll start to defend it. So you'll be more respectful. You won't litter. You won't, and so in the urban environment, you'll generally have a more respected, shared community space. Try not to infringe your own destruction or whatever you might say on the environment. And then when you go into a green space or a rural area, you'll appreciate it and then, try to preserve it and keep it as pristine as possible. For me, I love being able to bring kids outdoors, and I'll be able to hone in on just noticing that they're stressed out about work, job, school, whatever, and we'll have some free time and I'll be like, let's go into the woods and we'll, snowshoe 8, however many miles. Mm-hmm. And I can just watch, their daily life stresses melt away. We're impacted with so many advertisements and aspects of almost overstimulation in the urban environment. And the natural environment is also a same kind of stimulation, but you get a reward from it. You get a calming effect. It's you're still aesthetically pleased by the view or the serenity of it all, but in the end you feel like more of a deeper connection, like in a a sense of grounding, and like, and to be able to identify with that and to see the benefits of it. Like, I want to pass that on to a student, but I can't just tell them that, hey, nature has all these benefits. I want to just be like, follow me, let's try to keep up. And then all of a sudden you get to a vista that's overlooking a whole mountain valley, and just watch them breathe and their stress is melted away. And just to see that's rewarding, and then just to see their interpretation of that and how that changes their outlook on the natural environment to not being something of a commodity, but yet something that can deeply benefit their internal selves as well as their external selves.
Thanks everybody for stopping by. If you want to follow us on social media, please check out the links in the description.